Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new, thank you for clicking. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you install the DTF LED V3 kit to the Dualsense control pad. Now, I'm going to do the same thing what I always do. I'll show you what you get inside the box, and then we'll just go straight to the install. So, first off, inside the box, what you do get in this little bag is obviously going to be for your LEDs, which it is, and we've got a little ribbon cable, what we're probably going to exchange for one of the ones that's already on the control pad. So this looks like the one on the right hand side, which will be your R1, R2, and here is your LEDs. Now you've got quite a few LEDs what go around here, and this is for your battery connection because you won't be able to use the original one. You're going to be plugging this into the battery and then the battery into the board. And I've just noticed in the bottom of the bag here, if I can get these out, it looks like we've got some sort of like sticky tape. I've personally got some electrical tape. If you go to a supermarket or you just go online and you just type in black electrical tape, this is what I'm going to use to hold the wires down. You get some spare screws, you get a little user manual, and it says in here you get a 6 months warranty, so if anything happens just get in touch with them and they'll sort you out. You get a prying tool, you get a screwdriver, you've got obviously all your buttons. These are your symbol buttons, your D-pad, your option and your share, your PlayStation button, and your analog sticks. Now I'm going to tidy everything up and then we're going to get straight to the install. Right, I'm all ready to go. Now the first thing that you're going to need to know is which version control pad you have, because there's 3 versions now, but we're only going to focus on the 10 and the 20. Now there's a few different ways you can tell. If I zoom in on here, get my screwdriver, you see here where it says W, if it's got a tiny little A next to it, that means it's a 20. This one's obviously a 10. And down here where mine says 1, if it's an A, that means it's a 20. There's another way as well, if I zoom out there. If you remove your R1 or your L1, the way to do that is get your prying tool, put it underneath here, and just turn left and right. And if you can see, this screw, what's hidden behind here, mine's black, so that means it's a 10. If it's silver, it's a 20. The 30s, I really don't know. This kit is only for the 10 and the 20 as far as I'm aware, because there's a few of my subscribers have got in touch with us and said that there's a 30 came out now, so I'm really not sure on the 30. But to remove these, all you do is just put your prying tool in, and you just go left and right, and that'll remove them. Now down on the bottom here, to remove this, I'm going to start in the corner over here. So if I can focus a little bit better for you, I'm going to get the prying tool, come around this angle, and I'm just going to push it in there, and that'll take it out. And the same with the other side, I'm just going to push it in, and then it comes straight out. And then I always follow along this line, and I just wiggle the prying tool left and right as you're coming along this little line here. There you go, you see there, and then that should be ready to pop off now. So all I'm going to do is just lift this up, focus a little bit better on that, and then just put that to one side. Now these screws that I did show you on the top, you've got one here, and then if I go around, you've got 2 on the bottom as well. So I'm going to quickly remove these. Once them 4 screws are removed, that's what it should look like, so you won't have them on the top and you won't have them on the bottom. The next thing, what you're going to have to do is remove the case. To do that, you've got 2 little tiny tabs, you've got one here and one there. All you're going to do is get your prying tool, put it underneath the first one, and I like to put a little bit of tension here, so I'm pushing back. So I'm going to put it under there, a little bit tension. Same with this side, a little bit tension, and then that should have released. If it's a brand new control pad, I've had this one open a few times, so this one's going to be easier to open than probably yours. But if it does make a snap noise or anything, honestly don't worry, it's just the way it comes apart. You can see there's nothing that can really break on it. So I'll put this to one side. Up here with my screws, I've got everything organised. Now the next thing what you're going to do is remove the battery. The way I always like to do it is down here in the left hand corner. Just put your thumb and lift that up, and then to disconnect the battery you're just going to gently pull it out like so. Don't be too aggressive with that because you can pull the wires out. So like I say, this just pops straight off. Put this to one side, and then you've got a little screw down here which I'm going to quickly remove. I always like to leave this screw in the tray so I know which part it is. So normally it doesn't come out like that. I'm just going to leave it in there. And then this down here, this tiny little ribbon, you've got 2 ways of doing this. You can either totally lift it out or you can just lift it over. I'm just going to lift it over. So if you can see what I'm doing there, I'm just going to do that, and then that just makes it loose. And then this tray, I'm going to move out the way. Put this to one side as well. Now next one I'm going to do is remove this ribbon cable here, this one over here, the one on the top and the one on the bottom. Hopefully I don't need any tweezers. Right, that's the one on the bottom. That one is disconnected. This one over here has got a little tab what you can kind of get your hand in just. And then I'm going to, there you go, that one's removed. This one on the top, normally you've got to use tweezers, but I think I'm going to get away with just using me finger. Yeah, it's out. There you go, that one's out. And then over here, the same, just remove that. And that's out. And then the board, to lift the board, over here on the right hand side, there's kind of a little, I'm not going to call it a tab, I don't know what I'm going to call it, but you just press it in. And then the board should just lift out. We've got one on this side as well, so I'll push that one in. There we go. And the board is out. Now with me having a 10, I'm going to have to remove these two screws and these two screws. If you've got a 20, you'll only have to remove this one and this one. But with it being a 10, you're going to have to remove these ones as well. So I'll quickly do that and then I'll come back in a second. As you can see, I've removed them two screws on the bottom and the two on the top. But remember, this is only for the version 10. Now the next thing that we're going to do is remove the whole thing. This ribbon on the top has to go through this little hole up here. So I'm just going to be careful when I lift this out. I'm just going to make sure, you see there on the top, I'm just going to make sure it doesn't get caught, which it hasn't. And then I'm just going to put this to one side. Now we're going to focus on this. So I'm just going to remove this rubber. I'm going to pop the D-pad out. And same thing with the other side, rubber out. And then just pop these buttons out. Quickly install these. So triangle is the top one. And then we've got circle, which should be that one. No way there. Which way does circle? Do you know what? This is dead awkward being back to front. Circle's that one, isn't it? It's like that old kids game where they've got to put the colours in to the right things. Right, that one's in there. And then that one is in there. And then I'm just going to put this back on top of here. Same with the D-pad. You kind of go wrong with the D-pad because it's got a tiny little sort of notch on the bottom of it. That just drops in there. And I'm going to put that back where it was. And then the little PlayStation button, I'm going to take that off and pop that out. Get the new one, put it in the right way, and then put the rubber back on top. And then we've got the little symbol buttons up here. So that's that one, and that's that one. Just going to replace these. That went that way, didn't it? And then that one on the other one. You know what? I think I've put these in wrong. Which way do they go in? There you go. That's better. Got a little bit confused there. Right, there we go. Everything's in, and then we're just going to put this to one side and we're going to focus on the rest of the board. The next thing that we're going to do is remove the analog sticks. To do that, you simply just lift these off. You don't have to be too aggressive, and then just put them to one side. Now the next thing, we're going to be putting this on here, on top of the existing board. You can see here this orange bit is going to have to go inside here. If I can focus a little bit better, it's going to have to actually go inside here. So this board is going to have to be separated again because it's gone back together. So I'll put my prying tool in there, and then the other one down there. And one thing, you see here, for the microphone, mine normally falls out. I'm just going to remove this because it'll fall out. So back to the front here. And I'm just going to put this through the hole here. There we go, that's through. And then if we look on the other side, we should be able to connect it. So you can see here on the other side, there's two tiny little sort of nipples. You're just going to be pulling that over there and putting it on there. There's the first one's on, and there's the second one on, so hopefully you can see that. And then I'm just going to put that back on there, and then I'm just going to focus on the front of here. Do you know what, lifting things up like this and trying to do it on camera is so awkward. It's so much easier when you do it yourself. It's just trying to do stuff on camera is so hard, because you're trying to get like the full angle for people to see what you're actually doing, because they might think, whoa, is he doing it that way? Is he doing it that way? So that one goes on there. These should all just snap into place, because on the board there's tiny little plastic bits. You see like here how this moves, see there? Well, behind it, if I can get it on it and just press down, there you go. That keeps it held. Hopefully you can see there. And there should be one on this side, which there is. So there you go, that's pressed down. Is there any more? Nope, I can't see it anymore. So that's it. We're good there. I'm going to turn this back over. I'm just going to, for the meantime, I'm just going to, this ribbon cable as well. I don't think I have to have this one in. So I'm going to remove this one on the left hand side. I'm just going to pull that one out. The one on the right, I'm going to put like that. So let's have a look at this. Yeah, that's looking good. That looks fine to me. That's what it should look like. You've got this one that's caught down there. There we go. Yeah, everything looks fine. On this side, you've got a little piece of tape. What you're going to tape this down and it sticks to there. So I'll just remove that tape now. Right, the tape is removed. Unfortunately, I don't have any nails, so that's a little bit difficult for me. And then I'm just going to stick it here, like that. Once you've stuck that down, the next thing that you're going to do is fit the analog sticks. Now, these are pretty simple to put on. You just put them on top and just twist them until you feel that they go into place. So you'll know exactly what I mean. So there, I've just felt it, and then just press down. When you do press down, be careful, because there's sharp bits on the back of the board here that might stick in you. So once they're in, the next thing that I'm going to do is fit this ribbon cable, what I got. Hopefully I did say, or you have seen on the video, that I removed this one. I just pulled it out. It's just I'm having a bit of a bad day. My memory was full, my batteries ran out, I just can't win. So I'm going to replace this with the one, sorry, I'm going to replace that one with this one. The way these go in, you can see down here, I'm just going to be putting this in there. And there we go, just literally just press down. And then on the other side, that's going to fold over, but I'm not going to touch that. Now here, you've got, it says BDM 10, BDM 20, same with this side. Now, whichever version you've got, say you've got a 20, you're going to cut off the 10 and vice versa. I'm just going to leave these, I'm going to put a little bit of tape over just in case I decide down the line to put it on a different board. Now on this side, this goes in here on the front. So I'm going to put my finger on here. I'm going to look for the one that I need, which is the 10, and that is that one. So I'm just going to gently push that in. I don't know why they didn't put like a sort of latch connection on these, like they do on the back button kits. Right, that's pushed in. Yep, that's pushed in. And then I think we're good to just put the cover back on. Now when I put this cover back on, down here, this ribbon cable, I'm going to bend round and I'm going to put my finger on it, if I can grab it. And then this one is going to go through the existing hole. So I'm just going to bend that a little bit just to make sure it does go through. I'm going to lift the board up, and you can see there's a little hole, which that's going to hopefully go through. Give it a wiggle. There you go. And then I think we're nearly on the journey home. It's looking good so far. I'm going to replace the screws that I took out, the one down here, over there, and the two in the inside of there. So I'll quickly do that now. That's what it should look like. I've got my two screws over here, and I've got the two on the top, and then I'm just going to put all this back together. I'm just going to make sure none of the ribbon cables get trapped. Get this one out the way here, and this one on the bottom down here. If you just put your screwdriver in and just kind of flick that one over, then this board should just press down, which it has. Yep. And then I'm going to replace this ribbon back into here. I'm going to put this one over here. I know I keep saying it, but it's so awkward to do this on camera. It's much easier in person. So when you finally do it, or do it yourself, you'll understand it's a lot easier. Maybe it's first time, it might not, because you might not have had a control pad open before, but that's the whole journey of all this, isn't it? Just to learn and just to get the hang of things. So that one's pressed in over there. This one, I'm going to fit the one on the top. This is probably the easiest one. There you go, that one goes straight in. And the one down here on the bottom. Just make sure that's in, which it is. And as I mentioned, I'm going to put some electrician's tape on this. Actually, I'm going to put electrician's tape on both of them because you don't need this. Do you know what? I don't even know why this is here. I think you could just chop these off. Maybe this is something to do with, you know, if you've got the back button kit. I think that's what it might be. Where's my board on my tray? So this is my tray. I'm going to put this back over here. I'm going to lift this over here. Put that down, and then I'm going to put this screw in here for my tray for the battery. Put that like that, and then I'm just going to connect that back into there. Just press that down, and we're going to plug this into the existing battery tray. So that's pressed in there, and then obviously this one is going to go into the battery. So if I go down here and I zoom a little bit for you so you can see what I'm doing, make sure this is connecting the right way, which is that way, and it's already lit up. And then this I'm going to have to tuck that way, I think. If I tuck this like that, press that down, move that here, and then that should hide behind there. Yeah, that looks good to me. You could, if you want, put some tape on this, just so you know it's definitely pressed down and whatnot. Just use some tape so it doesn't move. And then this bit over here, oh my god, you know what? I think I've just been doing that and not even showing you. Sorry, that goes like that. I've literally just pressed everything down there and push this in the corner so it's nice and sort of hidden away. This bit I'm just gonna put some tape on it. Right, I've got some tape. That'll do me. And then this little bit here, if I can fold that down there, and then I'm just gonna put a little piece of tape on here. If you can't see what I'm doing there, I'm just gonna put a tiny little piece of tape just to make sure that doesn't move about. Right, I've got a tiny bit of tape. If you can see what I'm doing, I'm gonna push that down there. Come on. Is that gonna go? There you go. Right, so this tape I'm just gonna literally put over there, just to hold that in place. Hopefully that'll work. Yeah, I think that's good. Right, I'm gonna put this back cover back on if I can find it. Got it. So to put the back cover on, all you're gonna do is just put it on top there. Am I zoomed out? Yes. Put it on top of here. Press up. You know what? We've got that sticking out there. That's not good. Trial and error. Right, so it's just sticking out that tiny little bit, isn't it? So I'll push that in a little bit more. Right, I think that looks better. Yep, it's not sticking out anymore. Just click that all back together. I'm going to fit all the screws, the two on the top and the two on the bottom, and I'll be back in a second. When you fitted them 4 screws, the next thing that you're going to do is just replace your R1 and L1. So this one's L1. So all you do is pop it into place like that, and then the R1, just put it in, press it down, and it pops into place. And then the final piece is just to put this in. So the way I like to do this is put it like that, and then just push up, and just press it down. Pop that, and then put that, and then that. Right, if you bear with us a second, I'm going to go and turn my PlayStation on, because I won't be able to show you what these buttons look like, but that's what it does look like at the moment. The PlayStation's on, and this is what it looks like. To turn the colours on and off, you press up and right and square, and you hold that for, I believe it's 6 or 7 seconds. So if I do this, it'll turn it off, which it has, and that's what it looks like when it's off. And then if you hold up, right and square again for 6-7 seconds, it'll turn back on. And if you want to change the colours, you hold up and square together for again 6-7 seconds until you see it flash. And when it does flash, I think it's 9 colours you can choose. So that one's like a red colour, that one's a green. Quite like that green, it's nice. That's a blue one. Do you know what? I've just said I like the green, but I think I'm just going to stick with the blue. I like the blue. That one's kind of like a yellowy orange, like a nice purple colour. I think that's like a turquoise colour. Red, green, I don't know how many, I'm not sure how many colours that was. I'm going to stick with the blue one. I like the blue one. Where's blue? So I like blue. I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to hold up and square together to save that. And there you go, it stops flashing. And that's what it does look like. I cannot even dim the light anymore to show you what it looks like. But that's what it does look like. If you get stuck with anything or you need any help, as always, drop us a message and I'll get straight back to you.